we'll make sure that Silladar isn't listening to this. What card kills Merlin? Like, what's the one card if it went, you wouldn't play it?
One card in my world's deck.
Put on the maid outfit, Glenn. Hey everyone, welcome to the first official episode of the Banter Nights podcast. I'm Richard, the editor of Banter Nights Stew. You may also know me as Donate Me Bro in the Discord.
Hey, I'm Josh. I am the guy you see playing a lot of the games on the YouTube channel, and you may know me as Baby Bigfoot in the Discord.
And today we've got on Glenn, recent Nationals champion of the OCE region. How you doing, bro?
Yeah, doing great, thanks. Cheers for the invite to this great talk.
Yeah, no worries, man. Honestly, happy to have you on. We gotta ask, like, from the get-go, this is just us completely judging you. There is no, I can't hide behind it at all. What is your favorite card in the entire game?
Oh, favorite card. All right.
I'd just like to know, he says he won't judge you. I will.
I'm setting this up. Yeah, I'm setting this up for the rest of the video. This is just so that I can figure out how I'm gonna interact with you for the rest of it. No pressure at all, though. No pressure.
I'm feeling very pressured right now.
Don't.
I would have to say I really enjoy Astral Seal.
What the
Ooh,
fuck?
that is not what I expected to hear.
I expected a Crux card, honestly. I was ready to like.
Yeah, I was expecting Ghosts, and I thought, we might have to end this.
Can you real quick? Real quick. Tell me why Astral Seal.
I'm a very big control player. I love playing control.
Ooh.
It's my favorite archetype in the trading card game, and I just want like Arasana to be top tier. Like when she is, I'll be on that bandwagon straight away.
I was about to call you a Merlin loyalist. I have. I can't.
Yeah, like that's crazy. No, you know what? That actually kind of like I was gonna ask that because the list that you have, the Merlin build that you have is super different to the ones I was used to playing into. Like we have a couple of guys in our team, Jack and Caleb, who love Merlin, but their lists are very different. So I wanted to kind of ask like some of the decisions you made, like being completely transparent. I played your deck. I started playing it for a store champs that we had in here in Christchurch, and I'd been playing the deck for a week, and I managed to take the store champs there. And I thought, wow, this list is insane because I'm an idiot who's never played Merlin before. I've played into it plenty. But cards like Tether and Flames, man, I did not think that would be as good as it was.
Yeah, it was a bit of a surprise to me as well. Like I'd been playing around with card for quite some time actually, since it came out, and it sort of when we had Crystal of Empowerment and you could still go with the prismatic variation. Like there was just no room for Tether and Flames. But now with the whole ally centric, like you've got to really be like anti-ally right now. They actually open up a bit more flex spots in there. Prismatic, it takes up too many. You've got to just go for like one sort of game plan right now.
Yeah, I definitely think Prismatic is. I think it's really cool. Like if you can get all three down there, just use Value Town. But I think the putting dead cards in your hand for the start of the game can feel pretty bad.
Yeah, especially when you got like 19 of them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, I think there's definitely like even seeing like there's so many 3-ofs and 2-ofs in your deck, and I'm just thinking when I was messing around with it, I changed the list a little bit to fit our meta here in Christchurch, but man, there was hard to make cuts. It was really hard to make cuts. I think it's a super tight list, and I don't think there's terribly much wiggle room in the current state. Although you'd be the expert on that.
Yeah, with the deck itself, I just tried to make it as flexible as possible, and you could like work with all the cards into any matchup. There's not really any deck cards, and the sideboard is I feel where it actually shines the most because you're always siding in the exercise curses to get the extra floating up. It just depends what cards you're going to be taking out.
See, that's what I found into some. I see. I didn't do that every time, but I did find a lot of the times when I was looking at my list. When I was looking at the list, sorry, I was like, I think that there's cards that need to come out here against this matchup, and it's like, well, the only thing really to bring in is exercise and and just get a few more floating in there. So no, that's actually it's good to know that that's what you were doing with it.
Yeah, I mean, it's always nice to up the floating count. It just makes it a lot more consistent as well.
Yeah.
So, like, if you were to take your deck and take it to an Ascent over in C or take it to Ascent over in NA, what do you think you would try and change on your list? Like, what would be the first cut for your list?
Well, if we're going into the SEA,
Yeah.
they've got a lot of Merlin there already.
Yeah.
So I'd look to add Blanche in there, for sure. But they've also got like a lot of Xander, and I feel like personally, I think Merlin's favored into Xander. A lot of people think Xander's favored into Merlin, but with the addition of
Nah,
Feather and Flames, it's
nah,
it's just too much.
it's not. I fully agree with you there. Like the games I played into Xander, like it feels pretty good. I mean, they give you the time to set up, and they give you the allies decks and the aggressive decks. I think especially Scepter of Lumia, I found was the hard card to play into, personally, with the Merlin list. But yeah, playing into those was pretty tricky. But into Xander, where you've got your first few turns are free, you can eat some of their their action cards, so that they don't get the level 2 value because they're all playing Deft Executor now. So
Do you want to know what's funny, Glenn? So my friend from here actually went up to the recent store champs that you went up to, and he's playing Serene Luxem Xander, and he's just like, I hate this. I hate. He messaged me like during the days. I hate. I got matched into Glenn twice. Twice. It was the worst matchup ever. And I was like, I'm so sorry, dude. Was there anyone you wanted to get matched up? And you was like, the Wind Allies player that won. I wanted to get matched into him at any point. That actually does bring me to a good point. So were you like a competitive player from the get-go, or did you just jump into the game for a little bit of fun with TCGs and then just kind of decide on it from then on?
Oh, I've never actually really played over the board TCGs before. Like I guess, opening to it all was Legends of Runeterra card game.
Oh geez, dude,
Uh,
that thing died. What do you mean? That's big
yeah,
support. That's gone.
rest in peace. Yeah, yep, it's gone. But no, that was my, I guess, like big. I really enjoy trading card games.
Yeah.
And then I was like, all right, let's get something. I guess just in person, because I really wanted to get that, I guess, people interaction. Like Runeterra was fun and all, but it just wasn't the same as playing it in person.
like there's actually a good game design perspective here. You said this is your first like in person TCG. So for me, I started with Magic and then moved to this. Um, your I think personally, as someone who played Magic for a while, the sideboard, right? So in Magic, you get 15 cards. Uh, in GA,
Hmm.
we get 8, and you have the stipulation of that you also have a main and material deck. And I feel like with there's so many material tools now, there's so many like toolboxy cards in the material deck where you have to like have at least some spots in your sideboard to sub out for that. But then you also want to be able to change out some of your cards in the main deck. And I just think personally, I think that the 8 cards needs to be changed. I don't know. What do you think about that?
I completely disagree, to be honest. I think that
Whoa! Oh my, I did not
um,
expect that.
the main reason why is just because deck building is such a big part of this game. I reckon
Oh yeah,
it's
absolutely.
60-70% of the game, and the rest is like actually playing it. And there's obviously a little bit of luck factor in there too. But having a deck that's consistent will be a lot better than having a deck that is just tiered for like one sort of thing.
Hmm.
Do you not
So
think that? Oh, sorry. You can continue.
if you have like a bigger sideboard, then you'd be able to tick for so many different things in that sideboard, and then the matchups would just become a lot easier for you. Like you could just play the best deck and then just be siding in for everything else.
Hmm.
I can see that. Although, from my perspective, the way that I see it is, do you not think that you would get more interesting interactive games if people were taking into each other? So if you know that Merlin. I mean, there's going to be an initial part where, for example, Merlin's going to get to play all the tools and do very transformative sideboards. But I think in a game like GA where you have lots of different tools, it would be really nice to have more options going into the games so that more games could be very interactive and fun, and you wouldn't have as many of those sort of dead games where that. I feel like at the moment in the meta, it's not too bad, but they can get to those points where you feel like some game matchups are just like, oh well, this is just an auto loss.
Yeah, I kind of see where you're coming from, but at the same time, it sort of comes down to the deck building as well. Like, you,
Yeah,
you
absolutely.
you should be building your deck to deal with everything, not just like one or two things. Like, yes, my deck's tailored towards allies, but then I've also got stuff that deals with Luxem's hand. I've got stuff that deals with Rye. Got stuff that deals with the mirror matchup.
And
It,
some
it,
secret
it,
spice for worlds.
yeah, well, I mean, secret stuff for worlds.
Yeah,
Yeah.
go.
All right, come on, give it to us.
Give
One
it. Yeah, of
card.
course. We'll
One.
sign
No,
an
no, 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 no.
NDA.
No, no, no. One card in your world stick, and don't say GCR.
Merlin.
One card in my world deck.
Oh, here we go. This is some exclusive shit here.
Well, okay, the world's deck's not complete. Yeah, I'll give you that.
That's fair. Okay, but I'll admit, if the card that you say here doesn't end up in the final list, you'll be coming back on here and explaining yourself.
All right, I'll give it to you now. I'm expecting there to be a lot of allies there, so
Mm.
we'll say Terrafring.
Bro,
Okay, you know
dude.
what? I won't be mad. I won't be mad. That's fair. That's
You
fair.
wait, dude.
Okay.
Capen's gonna bring out his patented Fire Allies list. It's gonna be the
Uh,
newest thing. He's gone through wind, he's gone through water. I'm just waiting for it, okay? That actually does bring me to a good point. I saw the weirdest take I think I've ever seen in a Discord recently was somebody brought up that they think this meta is too diverse. Like there's too many decks that are viable. I personally couldn't agree less with it. I dislike that opinion completely. But the thought for it was it's a very like coin flip. If you go into a like competitive event, there are some decks that do really really well into certain decks, and then they completely like auto lose or not auto lose. Sorry, they just have an unfavorable matchup into other decks. How do you personally feel about that? Because obviously, Wind Allies is never going to do that well into Serene Luxembander. It can if it can like outspeed it, but once it gets to that end game and you're revealing 2 or 3 Luxem sites a turn, it just kind of goes downhill from there. But like in that vein, how do you feel about this meta we're seeing currently?
Um, I'm all for diverse meta, so I actually really like how it's going right now. Like there's quite a lot of top decks, and you could pretty much just play anything.
Yeah,
And if
except
you're
Solar,
confident on the deck,
except Solar.
maybe not anything, but
right, you
we're getting to it.
you
We're
bring
trying.
Arasada to Worlds, and then I will take back everything that I'm debating right now.
I will
But
eat a Bandonite. I'll do that anyway, but I'll eat another Bandonite.
yeah, we'll have more.
say
But
that I reckon you could probably take around 10 different decks that's
Yeah,
going to do
no,
yeah,
well.
yeah.
yeah. No,
And like
yeah,
I feel like that's probably like a really good thing for the game. It
Mm,
just shows like how like flexible the meta is right now.
yeah,
And I'm definitely all for it.
yeah. See, I think
100%.
it's a big thing that gets missed on GA is like besides, the very few bans that we have had in this game, instead of purely trying to bring a deck down in power so the rest like, bring them down so all of them are at a similar power, they're trying to, use Proxy as Vault to bring other decks or other archetypes up in power to a certain level, which I think is a cool way to do it because like, these proxy cards everyone can get. There's no like, oh shit, dude, you didn't pull a Scepter of Lumina. Well, unlucky. Like you can't play Water Allies, or you're not gonna play as like good of a Water Allies. You can just print that card and play it at a tournament. It's great, but like in the way of banning stuff or introducing stuff that everyone can just print and play, how do you feel about that?
I'll bring it back to Runeterra for a second here because I
Back
really
in the
really
rift.
enjoyed it. But like my main decks that I'd play in there was Ezreal and Lee Sin. Like
Mhm.
I love just like
Yeah,
comboing
yeah,
people
yeah.
and like that was like my go-to. But they ended up introducing this rotation thing, which kicked them both to the side, and after that, I
Right.
sort of lost interest.
I
So
feel you.
I'm hoping that we do not get this for Grand Archive. Like maybe
Yeah.
sometime like far down in the future, but right now it's definitely way too early.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I feel it. Like, yeah, like rotating cards out is not a good feeling. I don't think that would be. I mean, we're at a very, very small card pool right now. I can understand how a game like MTG does it, how, they rotate stuff out of standard. So, you're constantly having to buy the new set, but, there's a small, limited pool of cards that you can actually play in standard. So it's much easier to balance around it. But we don't have that many cards in Grand Archive yet compared to other TCGs. I think it's a good sign. We probably hopefully won't have
yeah.
these like like these rotations of stuff. I think also a lot of stuff is currently not very powerful. Yeah, I don't think anything is like running away with the show, and that's credit to like the multitude of decks which are viable in the meta. I mean, even in the little video we did with the 2 disgusting Rye players commenting on the meta,
Hey, nah.
sorry, you're right. Unsavory Riot players commenting on the meta. Like the sheer number, and we still got people saying that we missed decks, and that's like tribute to the fact that so many things are currently viable in the meta. Maybe not Prismatic Mordred, but a dream.
We probably needed to move Merlin up realistically. If we waited a couple
If
of
we could
weeks
go
to
back.
after Glen won with it, and then also, I mean, not to mention Wilson was also on Merlin, and also I'm pretty sure he was third,
Fourth in the
fourth.
end.
He was fourth. Okay, yes, yeah. No, that was like I couldn't believe it. I was, I not that I had fully discounted Merlin. I mean, as a Rye player, I enjoyed seeing Merlin get the punt a bit. I think you probably saw in Jacob and I's discussion that we're enjoying seeing Merlin go down a bit. And I will admit, having played it for the store champs, it does feel disgusting. I can understand why people really like it.
I was gonna say, yeah, no, actually, on the note of nationals though, so Glenn, when you actually went over there, because you obviously went over with Josh, I remember, Josh was messaging us throughout the entire day of random things he was seeing at the tournament. But like you personally, what was the biggest thing like that surprised you going into the Melbourne Nats?
Biggest thing that surprised me. Well, to be honest, I hadn't really gone overseas that much before, so
Oh damn!
I
getting over to
remember that
Melbourne was
when
like,
I remember that we were talking about that with you in Elusive.
yeah, it
Yeah.
was the furthest I'd been, so it was a bit of a trick for me, and it was quite hot too. Like
Mm.
playing in the room, there was
Mm.
like over 100 people in there.
Oh,
That was definitely sweating just sitting at the table, to be honest.
bro, a packed room of TCG players? Nah,
I
I'd imagine the smell.
So it it may be because I used to live in Australia for a period of time that I feel like I was a little bit used to it. I didn't feel like too hot in there after I realized my day was done. But I feel like you were probably in a position where you might have been a little bit more tense.
Yeah, it was definitely a bit crazy. Like the whole day, I was just taking one game at a time,
Mm,
and every single game that I played was just a very intense game. Like
what?
it was versing a lot of high skilled players. Like
Yeah,
you have to be going to that sort of event.
of
Yeah.
course. Was there any like deck that you were just not looking forward to playing against? Like you knew you'd probably see it, you just weren't looking forward to that match.
Don't really like the mirror matchup too much. Yeah, Merlin versus Merlin. It's very thinky, and you've got to not blow your load too early, or else you're just gonna get fireballed back.
God damn,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah.
Words from the wise.
No, I think that's definitely a good point. I think, to be honest, any mirror match I think is really tough because most people kind of build their list to go into a meta. Going into you build your Rye list. You think about, okay, how am I going to deal with allies, and then how am I going to deal with Merlins? How am I going to deal with Xanders? How am I going to deal with any Diana's, but then you think about it, it's like, wait, hold on, what if I get matched into the mirror? And then it's just that, it becomes a real, like, you have to think on the fly. But I would say one one big question, I'd say, this might be a tough one for you. This might take some thinking, but if you could go back in time, and I mean, admit it, you had probably the best weekend you ever could have, but if you could go back in time and change one thing about your deck, what would it be?
Ooh, one thing.
Add an
One
astral
thing that
seal.
might have made your days just a little bit easier.
Well, into the meta itself, it was a pretty good call. Like playing the sort of control style. I had
Mm.
the Persian Flames to deal for the allies, which was an amazing card. And not
Oh
many
yeah,
people were expecting it.
that card is really good in the deck. Yeah.
There was something I would change. Maybe adding in some meltdown to deal with the scepters. Like the most the deck had was safeguard, and you could
Mm.
protect it with Grail. Like that was
Yeah,
pretty much all it was.
that
Um,
that was the tech I didn't know. That was clever.
Like
That
it
was like that.
definitely helped out a lot with dealing with the damage because then they wouldn't be able to dungeon guide that turn, and if they did, they'd just be wasting another 4 damage.
I did not think about that Quicksilver to put on it. That was really clever. I mean, maybe it's just because I'm a super greedy Rye player who always wants to draw cards with the the Grand Crusaders room.
Dude, Rye
Oh,
players actual just like bang head into wall, draw cards. That's the game plan. Actually insane. At least refined Merlin players have a schedule to it, you know?
Yeah.
But
going
like
back to
yeah.
another deck that I didn't really want to face up against was Rye as well. I played against
Yeah. Yeah, I should have brought it.
I did play against one, and that was an insane game. It was against my mate Adam, who's also from
Yes.
Wellington here. We went over together, and that was definitely an intense game.
Are we talking specifically the fire Rye or the wind Rye?
Either one. I
Oh yeah.
reckon Rye's got a great matchup into Melon.
I do remember this from playing at Ascent Auckland. I felt like I was playing Riot at that tournament. I felt really good into Merlin. So that was one thing I thought after the fact. I was, man, if I had a brought if I had brought Rye, it might have been a different story because I think Rye is kind of in an interesting spot at the moment where it's not quite as high rolly as things like Erupting, but even if you do manage to get the high roll and live, you're still so far behind, it feels. By the time you get to the end, and I feel like the consistency that you need for Rye is really hard to find, and because there's less of them playing, it's why you don't see as many of them in the top. It is a tough match for Merlin. I always found, I think a lot of people said it was around a 50-50 Merlin into Rye.
Oh, it just depends if Merlin's running Tithe or not.
That's true. Yeah, I feel like that's definitely it can be definitely be a contributing factor. But I feel like a lot of Rye players now, a lot of skillful Rye players, like Adam would definitely be one of the people as well. He's been playing Rye since day dot. But I think people like him, and I'd like to think that I can, like playing around Tithe, I think is a big thing at the moment. And I think that's why we're seeing a lot less Tithes existing, period.
I think Tithe is still good right now for sure.
Oh yeah.
And sticking underground is always like a little cheeky thing you can do.
That
Put out
that
whenever.
used to drive me mental.
So what I'm hearing is if Merlin hits back into the meta, Rai suddenly gets good again, and then once he's good, we can ban another one of his cards to really,
No,
really like
no, no,
seal
no,
him
no,
on
no,
that,
no, no, no,
right?
no, 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 no. Let's look. If anything, we should be unbanning one of his
Can we
cards.
reban
Hey,
Reckless? Is that a thing? Can we reban
Reckless
it?
conversion was fine. Reckless conversion was fine. It's
If we let you
totally
go down
fine.
this route, we'll never finish this combo. I think we should
Okay.
just reban Reckless. Take it off to
Okay.
then reban it
Yeah.
the next day. That would be very, very good.
All right. Well, I tell you what, there is gonna be an episode of this where it's gonna be Jacob and I, and we're gonna make you sit through it, Richard, where we are gonna talk about bans and restricting and limiting, and you know what's gonna come up.
It's just gonna be like I'm telling you, Glenn. It's gonna be a 6-hour conversation about how Reckless is fine. And they're gonna discuss every single line and how Merlin gets to draw a second card on her second turn, and because of that, Reckless is fine. It's gonna be the cope. It's
Yeah,
it's cope.
that,
It's cope
that's
incarnate.
true. It's true.
No, but
Anyway.
you are heading over to Worlds though. Worlds is over in Las Vegas, which is insane, super cool. You're probably gonna end up pulling a few packs. You're probably gonna play a few. You're gonna be playing a few games. If you get lucky, are you just dropping and going straight to the casinos? Ride that high?
Hell no, nah, mate.
What
Oh.
the
We're
hell?
playing for 50 grand here. 50 grand is a
Oh,
lot of money.
but you
All
could
right.
win that in like
No.
4 blackjack
Yeah,
hands. What do you
exactly,
mean?
right? You know
What
what?
do you
Like
mean?
you know what you do? Here's the financial plan, Glenn. Hear me out. You take all the money that you got from getting and winning nationals, and you just put it all on red. No matter what, and you just win it. Get all your money. No matter what happens at Worlds, you still come away a winner.
Well, okay, that's a terrible idea. My idea is you go to 2 separate tables. You put half of it on red on one table and half it on black on the other. Like it's if you're either gonna win. If you lose one table, you win the other. It's just like that. It's like that easy. And then you just keep doing that until you make infinite dollars, and then you just buy your place at a Gildas. Fuck, she's expensive.
Man,
Like
the card's so expensive now.
dude,
I can't believe it.
it's actually insane. You know what sucks? Grand Archive used to be the game that I could tell people was like the cheap thing to get into, and it's still like, you know, compared to most other TCGs, it is pretty damn cheap. But like to be like, yes, for this deck that goes to level 3, you will need a playset of these dungeon guides that cost 35 New Zealand dollars, which is about like $1 converted. But like 35 New Zealand dollars is still difficult for a lot of people to drop on a 4 of. And then Gildas is off the charts. Don't even get me started on Crux. You already have your stuff for it. But if you're ever in need, you know, your car breaks down, you can just sell your Crux playset and you can pretty much buy a new house.
That was a rant and a half about
That was a rant now.
about not having enough cards.
I'm broke. Okay, I ate ramen for dinner.
It's because we don't pay him enough and we put him in the basement. This is the first time he's
You
allowed
don't
out.
pay me at all. What do you mean? What do you mean? I'm paid an exposure.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so Glenn, one thing I think everyone, I mean, I was in the room and it was very surprised to hear. We're very happy for you. Creative shock. How did that happen?
Oh, mate. Yeah, that was a bit interesting. It was probably about, I don't know, a month before our nationals that I actually officially joined them, or got asked by Jason.
It was a
Um,
silent endeavor though.
but we've been practicing for ages,
Mm.
playing like on and off. I was helping him with his Diana list, and the amount of times he played Diana into Merlin, and I was slaughtering him over and over again. I felt bad for him, but it was the perfect practice for SEA because then he took it and just slaughtered all the Merlins there.
Honestly though, it is kind of funny though, Glenn, you speaking about like just practicing with Jason, because I swear I would see you guys like daily in the Discord, and like it showed off. The nationals was I mean, I wouldn't say like a shoe in. You definitely fought your way through that, and you did extremely well, getting to the top. I mean, a lot of New Zealanders got to the top, which is extremely cool to see, by the way. So many of
No
us
Aussies in OCE.
But there's one over in SEA, okay? Like that, we take
That's all
those.
right.
We
I mean,
take
it's all
those.
right because we put 3 Kiwis there, and that's what matters.
No, like I mean, you're heading over to Worlds now. You know, you got all your other competitors and everything. You're heading over with some members of Creative Shock because you know they've also got through too. Through that, then you know this is you can name and shame. It's completely fine. Who would you be? You know, most afraid of heading up against, or maybe not afraid, but you know, most rivalry.
It's your time to psych them out.
Ooh, rivalry.
Shit talk
All
them.
right.
Do it. We'll
You know,
cut this. We'll cut this.
I'm
Fingers.
pretty comfortable like going into the Oceania guys. I feel.
Oh, Ian Wilson.
Bro.
Oh, it's bro.
I mean, well,
I wish it
yeah,
had
I've
Banter.
played against them so many times,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
like
yeah.
I feel like
You got that
I'm not like
moveset
worried about
downloaded.
what.
Hey,
Yeah,
but let's be honest though, as a little sidebar, Wilson has been playing not for very long and has gone extremely good.
yeah, he's actually amazing to be honest for how little he's been playing. Like he
Exactly.
started after Ascent Auckland. That's
Yeah, I
crazy.
I remember he was slamming up his dick and and trying to hunt down all his CSRs and he just came into a bunch of the regionals. Like I'm pretty sure he's down in Dunedin this weekend, which I'm headed to tomorrow, and that's gonna be he's gonna be probably the one to beat in Dunedin. But yeah, no Wilson, he's crazy, and then Marnie coming out. Like I have never seen Marnie play.
I'm just glad that Marnie did as well as he did because he's been playing like a lot of training card games for a very long time. He hasn't really
Mm.
seen an amazing success like this before. This is the best like that he's done in a major event, and it is amazing. Like he's going to Worlds. This is crazy. Flights, accommodation paid for.
Dude,
This
that's
is just a
insane.
dream.
That's
Yeah,
so
that's
cool.
sick.
Honestly,
So
like
anyone NA? What's your NA ECA? I mean, I feel like we haven't really had a lot of exposure to a lot of the ECA players. I feel like they're almost like dark horses in the race. But I mean, obviously we got some big names. I mean, Caben, right? I think he's the one that everyone's kind of got their eye on. But I mean, there's some amazing players in NA. Have you really had any exposure training with against them? And what are you feeling?
I don't think I've played against any of them before. I
Mm.
have like watched their games though.
Mm.
Just doing like a bit of studying and Caven's been around for
Oh,
a very long time. He's placed like at the top of every major event. To be honest,
yeah, no,
insane player.
yeah, I got run into him at a Center Auckland, and that was a complete washout. I mean, that was that I feel I was on a hot streak. I got through Terry, I got through Gazimus, and I got put in front of Caben, and I got humbled.
honestly, dude, yeah, I gotta be honest, man. I got an open letter to Caben. That guy ended up making wind allies and then water allies like the big thing at our like
Mm.
locals, and I can't.
Oh my god.
I will never forgive him for that. That is, you know what?
Yeah.
Net decking is alive and real, and it hurts so much. It was because Wind Allies is such a. I have heard people say it's a very high skill like skill ceiling deck. If you're going to like the mirrors and stuff to know what to play in, like you know when it's a very easy to get into deck. You know, if you need to know what to do, slam a bunch of 2/3s down and swing. It's pretty straightforward the strategy there, and it is very beginner friendly. And that's exactly what happened. A bunch of new people joined the store at that time. There wasn't like the most expensive card in the thing was Gildas, and she still wasn't as expensive as she was now. And oh my god, every single week having that sit across from me and dying before I got to do anything was so depressing. Yeah, it was a very very funny time, but Caben is the reason for that. So personal vendetta, but in the nicest way possible. Love that guy.
Yeah.
Just for you, I will match up against him, and
Oh
I'll.
my god, thank you
Yeah.
so much,
Let's
homie.
go. Yeah, let's go, Glenn.
Everything I just said about Caven, take it all back. Never mind, I'm on
Yeah.
Team Glenn right now. I'm making banners for it. I hope, like, we do wish you a lot of luck over there. Just supporting other Kiwis would be sick to see. Like some of us hit big, if not win. I mean, you've seen the prize cards for it. They are insane. Some of them look extremely cool. I gotta ask Glenn, are you secretly hiding a cosplay to try and do the cosplay contest too? Maybe we're gonna see Glenn in full Merlin cosplay for his games. Is that on the
Or
table? Maybe.
Arisana.
Yeah, my
Arisana.
Arisana, that's the one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whoa, whoa! Put on the maid outfit, Glenn.
And
Ooh.
I'll be a herb, okay? You'll see
You'll
me as
be a
a
herb, hell
lazy
yeah,
lion.
dude. I'm gonna be honest, bro. If you start hotboxing the hall, I think that's gonna cause some problems. Maybe I don't know how Sile may feel about that
That's
one,
that's his game plan. Yeah.
opponent can't block my cards if they can't see my cards.
Okay, this is actually a good question for you, Glenn. I think. So I personally like playing quite high rolly decks in Rye, and I was playing Erupting at Nationals. I mean, what do you think? Because I think those decks in small tournament settings, if you're on a roll, you can really run through the ranks. But I think in those bigger tournaments, you really want to have something that performs consistently, and I think that's why Caben and others like to do allies lists because they can just be very consistent. And I just so what's your sort of thoughts on that for those sort of big events?
Yeah, 100% agree. Consistency is key.
Mm.
And that's why I built the mailing list the way how it was,
Yeah.
just because it was so consistent. Like
Oh
you're
yeah.
always going to be able to get rid of floating, and if you're not, you're going to be able to play allies to deal with allies. They're the ones that are going to be your tough, I guess, opponents. You know.
Yeah, that was a that, I must the deck did feel super consistent when I was playing it. I had to go off it. I felt like I was getting I was a little dirty playing Merlin as a dedicated Rye player. I feel like this is I've gone to the dark side, but I mean it did well for me, so I won't complain. And yeah, thanks
You
for
know,
the
Yeah.
list. It was pretty good.
Congrats on the store champ win, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
honestly,
I'm sorry
speaking
that you
about
got second on your one.
Oh,
It might be a little
what
bit.
the
Mate.
fuck? What the fuck? Wait, that wasn't necessary. What?
No,
Wind allies can high roll. Wind allies can high roll.
Yeah, no, absolutely no. I'm sorry, that was a bit cheeky there.
No,
No, I know. No, you've definitely. I think you've probably won more invites than I have for sure.
actually, no. Speaking of Josh using your list, after you win big, people are going to be like, "I want to play a Merlin list. Let me see the one that won nationals," and probably just straight net deck whatever you've got.
Oh my God, are
Like,
going to be? It's already
it's already
happened,
happening.
mate.
It's already happening. Like whatever you bring to Worlds is going to do it as well. I think the only saving grace of Worlds is that MRC is like it's extremely close. Once MRC comes out, obviously we're going to see so many changes, and we're hoping the meta will not drastically shift, or yeah, it'll shift because we're getting support for every single class, as they've said. Yeah, actually, no. Speaking of that, I was going to ask you to do with MRC. Is there any specific card type or effect or like specific style of card you'd like to see, like a board wipe or like a specific burn effect or something like that? Anything in particular you'd be looking for, be on your little birthday wish list?
Um, bring back crystal empowerment. Or
Yeah,
just,
that's good. We can agree on that one.
but just make it mage class bonus.
Yeah, let's
No,
go.
but then
Yeah.
Merlin's still gonna use it, and I don't like Merlin using
No,
it.
that's fine.
And
No,
I don't
I
like
that's
Wraith.
okay. No, you know what? I'll handshake on the Merlins as a Riot player. I'll handshake with the Merlins, and we'll bring Crystal back. Mage class bonus. I get there is a post of me in the Discord discussing that exact card. So I'm glad we're on the same wavelength with that, Glenn.
Yeah, well, the crystal ban really hurt Merlin.
Oh yeah,
But to be honest, she used to high roll so hard with it. If you had two fireballs in hand, you could do
yeah. That was
like
gross.
Can it
turn
really?
4, turn 5. You'd be dealing 19 damage. It was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Can the crystal ban actually hurt? Right, like he's already a dead horse. You can't really kick it that much more.
Nah, hey now. I mean, look. Bring back Reckless as well, just while you're there.
It circles
While you're
back.
bringing Crystal back up.
I'm going
No,
insane.
I'll stop. I'll stop. I'll stop. All right.
Glenn. I'm in a fucking echo chamber in this team, man.
Yeah, it's too many
No,
rise.
no, it is
Um,
insane
These
though.
I,
players,
yeah. Hey, I do have one more quick. So you said you like playing Arasana. How much do you actually play it? Because I don't know about you, but like for me, trying to like prepare for events and stuff, not to mention having a job and doing all sorts of other stuff, having a social life, having a family life. I mean, just how do you like? Did you ever get to play fun stuff? Now I feel like I was just playing, trying to figure out what I was gonna play into the meta.
if I'm like testing competitively, then yeah, I'll play my competitive deck. But it's always good to have a fun deck too. Like you can't just
Yeah,
be going to locals and absolutely stomping everyone. That's just not fun for anyone.
yeah.
You
It's
could
not
just
how you
have
get the new players in.
you could just have the best of both worlds and play prismatic Mordred. I'm just saying, a little side comment in there,
Yeah,
but
there we
I
go.
mean, I would take that to locals and have fun.
Mm.
yeah, there we go. Don't do it, Glenn. Please don't do it. It's such a terrible idea.
It's so
I'm
funny. Oh my
telling you,
god, please.
it's
That'd be so
like
funny.
okay. You know what? Actually, no, Glenn, you might be able to do it because I have legitimately been teaching a new player how to play. He bought the Rice starter deck, and I was like, I get so excited doing anything with Mordred. I just stopped looking at my opponent's board. I swung a Rending Flames for like 18 at his board, and he's like, "Cool, I'll intercept with Barrier 7 and remove 2 Enlighten and block the whole attack." I'm like, I'm gonna scoop.
How many
I'm so
how
done.
many how many times did you play into Jacob and I and
Uh,
you still don't learn?
playing this game really does make you better at the game. Who'd have thought?
Is there any like other than, I mean, you mentioned you like Arasana, that was a really it's really interesting. I didn't know that. What is there any other decks you like playing? Any other champions? Any like what did you start with? Is probably a good one.
So I started with the Rice starter deck,
Yeah, let's go.
and I took that to Store Champs
I'm
when
so
I
sorry
was
for your
4
loss.
days into the game. Wait, no. Rice starter deck is like it's fun to play,
Oh yeah, it's
and
slaps. It's so good.
it's got banned cards in there. Let's go. But yeah, like after Rye, after the Store Champs, I was like, I actually don't like this champion anymore. I got real
Yeah.
hooked on
Oh, oh well. I was really like, we were riding that high, and then you just like could crash to the ground.
Oh, it felt very solitaire, like
Yeah.
very
Oh,
solitaire.
so it kind of brings me like to another point. The way I actually learned how to play Rye very well was literally just doing that, just playing lines on my own, and then you get to the point where you just kind of like you'll never usually make a mistake in your lines of play because it's just solitaire. And I think like that's the hard part about testing. If you're on your if you just have yourself and you, you might not have enough to play with people, and you're just playing solitaire. I think Rye is really good for that.
Doesn't sound too good to be honest,
Dude, I'm
because
gonna be honest. My favorite thing about facing a Rye on their kill turn is it means I can get up and go to the local corner dairy and grab myself something to eat and come back, and he'll probably have just been ready to fireball me.
but,
Yeah.
there was a Store Champs that I played and I was placing against the Rye. Advent got played. It took 30 minutes to resolve that
Yeah.
card.
What? No, that
One
okay.
card.
No, hey, look. See, I said this after when people started playing Advent and doing huge cycling turns, and I'm like, okay, what you've done now by banning Reckless is you've actually made the turns take longer because you have to think way more. I can't just slam 4 down and play a pair, draw a bunch of cards, slam 3 down and play a Arcane Disposition, and then pick them all up and keep going because at least the cards are moving. But now it's like it's just slow. Bring
So
back
what I'm
Reckless.
hearing is Advent should go next.
No.
It's the next thing. It's making the game even slow. I'm just saying, man.
Hey,
Just
I'm
if
I'm I'm kind of 50 I'm kind of 50-50 on it anyway. I think that you can build good lists without Advent.
yeah, exactly.
I
Ban
don't
it.
yeah. I don't think that wouldn't kill Rye though. I think it just kills a certain archetype of Rye. Okay, but let's be real though. We'll make sure that Silladar isn't listening to this. What card kills Merlin? Like what's the one card if it went you wouldn't play it?
Fireball.
Oh yeah, that's true. There's no way they get rid of
So
that.
you're
though.
telling me if we get rid of Fireball, we hit 2 birds with 1 stone?
Yeah,
We
you do.
kill Fire Rye and Merlin? Insane.
Yeah.
Insane. But that is cool actually to hear your insights on this, Glenn, because I have had this. I've chatted to a bunch of the nationals winners or like runners up even, and they offer some incredible insights to parts of the game. Like you don't realize how, I mean you probably do, but you don't realize how much like a proper competitive player, like who I would consider to be a pro or at least an expert at the game, has to offer in terms of insights to certain things that you may already have an opinion on. Like it is actually really, really cool to hear your opinions on this kind of stuff. And I do actually thank you for sitting down with us at like 8:30 on a weekday to go through these questions, have a yarn about this stuff, and try not to reveal too much about like your list for worlds and stuff. It is really, really nice to have that. I'm glad you haven't forgot where you come from. You're not too good for us already. Thank you so much for that, Glenn.
Yeah.
You're all good.
I
mate.
can't wait till you win
Uh,
worlds and then you're like, who the fuck is Banner Knight Stu? What the fuck are these guys doing trying to chase me up for a follow-up interview? I have 50k now. I don't need this shit. It's fine.
Set for life, right?
Exactly. 50k does it'll buy you like a candy bar in America or some shit, but that'll be fine. That's no problems there.
2
Honestly,
tanks of gas over here.
exactly. Oh shit, dude.
Yeah, oh yeah, bro.
Oh.
Let's not get into that.
In Wellington too. Ooh. No, but I think I speak for Josh and myself and the rest of the team at Banner Knight Steel, and we do say thank you so much for taking the time out to come and sit down with these questions for us. It is a really, really nice experience to have a yarn to you, and hopefully post Worlds we'll be able to get you back for a follow-up interview to see how you've been. We'll be able to discuss that list that definitely has Terrafring in it.
Sounds good. Thanks for that, guys.
Yeah.
Appreciate it, Glenn. Thanks, man. Good luck at Worlds. We're rooting for you.